Welcome back, comrades. This is Gaming with Austin. And today, we're on episode 21 of Season 2 of the Utopian Community series. As soon as I get this loaded up, if we're gonna continue today in this episode. I am continuing on with fixing that mistake I made. Everybody makes mistakes. Have y'all heard of Danny Trejo? The guy that plays the tough guy roles. In some horror films. Even being the Pinata boss. In the Mickey Mouse cartoon called Feliz Cumpleaños. Yeah, cause I definitely have. What many people don't know is that he is a huge Slayer fan. So much so that he appeared in the videos for Repentless and Pride and Prejudice. He played a minor role in Repentless, gouging out the eyeballs of another prisoner during a prison riot. In the video, there was a prison riot. There was a prison riot. The prison riot was actually staged by Slayer themselves. The guy that stabbed a prison guard in the neck, he covers his eye out in public, too, due to the fact that he is blind in his right eye. The main prisoner, his name is actually Jason Trost, who stabbed the prison guard in Repentless. He played a major role in You Against You, Repentless, and Pride and Prejudice. You Against You acts as a prequel to Repentless. And if I made a music video, Jason Trost. The reason for his eye patch in the video, those videos by Slayer, is the fact that he's legally blind in his right eye. He is legally blind. Jason Trost is the one who stabbed the prison guard and started a prison riot. And in the end of the video for Repentless, he hacked the head off of one of the prison inmates. He hacked one of their heads off. As a way to get revenge on one of the detainees in the prison. The reason he wanted to get revenge? Because someone killed one of his cellmates. That prisoner that Trost killed in, like, in the video, but he did it to get revenge. Like, the head he hacked off was the head of a prisoner who killed his cellmate. Was the prisoner that killed his cellmate. Like, the cellmate is already dead. At the start of Repentless. And Pride and Prejudice. Like, the video takes place a week before the prison riot. Slayer staged it for the music video. And Trejo tends to play a bunch of tough guy roles. There are two types of... According to him, there are only two types of people in prison. Predator and prey. But in Prejudice, which takes place about 2 months after the prison riot, Trejo and Trost are a Nazi killing ritual, which, by the way, happens next to a dining room of a family who gets scared. Imagine a death metal video taking place in the prison. Right in the middle of a prison riot. Especially meat hook sodomy by Cannibal Corpse. One of the controversies surrounding Cannibal Corpse is their lyrical content tends to be violent and possibly even pornographic. Which is probably why Cannibal Corpse wasn't allowed to perform at Disney World. Maybe it's possible that Six Flags might not even allow Cannibal Corpse to perform at their parks either. Mom? Were you talking to me, Mom?
Yeah, open my door first. What do you do? Hush! Netflix is back on, by the way.
Okay. My mom was back to my gaming video. By the way, like, back to what I was saying. Like, my mom was talking to me about Netflix being back on. That's all. Songs like I Come Blood, Meat Hook Sodomy, and Entrails Ripped from a Virgin's Vagina, they tend to be pretty pornographic. Like, when it goes to lyrics for the song. Which probably explains why Cannibal Corpse is not allowed to perform at any theme park. Because of those lyrical themes of some of the songs that are played in concerts. Mom? Like the glass shattering? I'm making a gaming video, Mom. That's all. Back to my gaming video. I have to crank the volume down a bit. That's all. With Metallica, the reason they probably wouldn't be able... Anthrax is able to perform at Disney World. The problem with Slayer, when it goes to performing at Disney World for a concert, is your lyrics are pretty violent. Some of the Cannibal Corpse songs in which their lyrics are pretty pornographic, which their lyrics sound like music porn. Includes, but not limited to, I Come Blood, Meat Hook Sodomy, which is a song about having a meat hook rammed up someone else's ass, and entrails ripped from a virgin's vagina. All of which is too disturbing for kids. And songs like Hammer Smashed Face, Kill or Become, tend to be pretty violent. Cannibal Corpse's lyrics are either too violent or too racy. Sometimes both. Which is why Disney banned them from performing at the House of Blues. Disney's House of Blues. The funny thing about it is, Corpse Grinder goes to Disney World all the time. That's the funny thing. If I create a death metal band, I'm gonna make it as brutal as possible. Yet, at the same time, melodic. I'm gonna make it brutal and melodic at the same time. Melodic, brutal death metal. That melodic, brutal death metal. And Slayer is an example of old school, like, especially Angel of Death. An Angel of Death helped shape death metal. death metal wouldn't be what it is now without Slayer. And death metal is known for having really violent lyrics. It's also known as Cookie Monster metal when you joke about those death growls. Also known as Cookie Monster vocals. Raining Blood's an example of old school death metal. There are other thrash metal bands that help shape death metal. Including Exodus. Which also helped shape modern-day Slayer. Raining Blood's pretty violent. Especially for a thrash metal song. It should be classified as a death metal song. With the like the People's Space Union in the socialist country, we would define a planet as any celestial object whose gravity is strong enough to make it spherical. The dwarf planet would be any object in which its gravity is not strong enough to keep it spherical, yet strong enough for the object to have natural satellites. A subsatellite is basically a satellite of a satellite. Right now, we were able to put those on the moon artificially. We've yet to discover sub-satellites. Legitimate, like natural sub-satellites. Even though diamonds are more abundant than gold, trying to harvest them from diamond ore requires a lot of labor. Even you doing labor, it's not free for you either because it requires energy. Anything that requires energy is not free at all. Because using that energy requires some work. Like a source of converting that mass into energy. Whether it be an extreme amount of heat and or an extreme amount of pressure. Like the scenario of and slash or means one, the other, or both. It means do one, the other, or both. That's what it means with the quote and slash or. One, the other, or both. Hitler. The reason that everybody must learn that actions have consequences, that is because if you don't teach them that, you're basically raising little dictators. You're raising children to be dictators. Literally. No one is to be above the law at any level. Not even at an international level should anyone be above the law. Because there are laws imposed at an international level. Because want to know what happens when you go above the law at an international level? Even crimes against, there would be something called, there would be more human rights violations. The problem with trying to achieve equality across all animals is that some animals, if all animals shared a common diet, it'd be really bad for the ecosystem for all the animals to share a common diet. The consequences of every animal sharing a common diet is gonna be horrible. Entire ecosystems will suffer. Which is why there are two types of animals in the ecosystem. There's predator and there's prey. We humans are both. Sort of. There are two types of people in our there are two types of animals in our ecosystem, just like there are two types of people in prison. Predator and prey. If all our animals shared a common diet, entire ecosystem, it would be bad for the entire ecosystem. That our ecosystem would suffer. White cats need to, like, the reason we're in the constant state of war with mice is because mice tend to have a faster... If you want to know why mice steal our food, is because if the amount of mice collectively weighed the same as an average human being, they would have a greater need for food compared to humans. Because smaller animals have lower volume to surface area ratio, which means more heat loss. There's more heat loss happening. Which means another factor, which probably means that mice cannot survive for very long without food. Like, they can only survive 3 to 4 days. The best solution to that problem of mice stealing our food just so they could survive? Chemical pesticides are not the answer. Because it causes mice of future generations to get away from it. Some of those mice have already started developing signs of pesticide resistance. Which means we'd have to go back to using cats. What we need to do is cripple the monetary value of gold by producing it with a particle accelerator. Thankfully, we have one in Cern, Switzerland. The reason to cripple the value of gold is so we can make our computers cheaper. The law of in communism, we could exploit the law of supply and demand, in which the amount of food available would overwhelm the amount of food produced would overwhelm the demand for it. In order for a life form to survive, you have to sacrifice the cells of another life form. That's how life works throughout the entire universe. That's how life can survive in the universe. Based on the laws of thermodynamics, but you know, fortunately, plants do not feel pain. Even if all life forms were able to feel some form of pain, we still wouldn't stop eating, because every animal must eat to survive. No matter how small the cells are. Because regardless of the size of the cells, they're still going to give off heat. Every process in the universe gives off some form of heat. Even down to the quantum level, there is still friction. Which is why things will... spinning will ultimately end up slowing down even in the presence of a vacuum. Even in the presence of a perfect vacuum. The problem with trying to create a perfect society for all animals alike is that some animals have to eat other animals just to survive. We humans don't have to. Fortunately, for us humans, we don't have to kill animals. Cats, the reason they hunt is out in the wild, that's their only source of food. The bioavailability of nutrients is another factor. Behind why cats love to hunt. Why cats prefer hunting over scavenging. Anyways, once I get this done, there are religious... Anyways, this is it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video. Dislike if you disliked it. Subscribe for more. Share this with your comrades on social media to help my channel. As always, thank you for watching and peace out.